budget. It's a phrase that I say all the time now, but I didn't always believe it. I remember when I got my first 9-to-5 job, I was still living at home and my dad was so desperate for me to budget those first few paychecks. But I wanted nothing to do with it. I thought budgeting seemed like the least fun thing possible and that I was never going to be able to spend my money on anything I wanted to ever again. And over the next few years, I tried kind of half-heartedly with different budgeting apps and spreadsheets because budgeting felt like the adult thing to do. But it wasn't until I felt myself being completely out of control. Money was coming in, but it was just as quickly leaving my accounts, and I felt unorganized and I wasn't sure what was going on. And it was that lack of control that led me to think I probably need a budget. And you might find yourself in a similar situation. We don't know what's going on in the world next, and that lack of control can be scary. And what I'm here to tell you today is that a budget can help give you some clarity and help you gain back some control. And if you're watching this video because you're subscribed to our channel and you've been budgeting for a long time, leave some encouragement down below for somebody just starting out. Because here's the thing about budgeting. These steps I'm sharing today are not hard. What can be hard though is facing your financial situation. So we are here for you. I love a video where I get to use my whiteboard and my planner. So let's go ahead and start with step number 1. The first thing we need is more information. We need to determine how much your current life is costing. So let's go ahead and list out all of your expenses. Okay, I'm gonna give you a list. It's not going to be a comprehensive list, but it should at least get you started. What I would really recommend though is going back through at least 3 months worth of bank and credit card statements to get a full picture of what you're spending your money on. Here's the list I have for you. Hopefully it's a good jumping off spot. And as you're going through each category, things like bills are really straightforward to see exactly what you're spending, but for categories like groceries and clothing, we want a really realistic number. If you're spending $400 a month on groceries, you wish you were spending $200, but write down the $400. That's gonna give us the most accurate picture of your current spending. If you're writing these down or using a spreadsheet, next to each expense, just write the amount down. If though you're using YNAB, the best thing to do for this step is actually to create a goal. And if you haven't done that before, I will link down Hannah's video where she walks you through that step by step. Once you have all your categories and estimated costs, add them up. This is the number we need. This is how much your life is currently costing. As an example, here's a budget I've written out. It has everything from rent to car insurance, different streaming services, all the way down to vacation. And if you're like me, there might be some surprises. I wasn't tracking my spending, so it was a little bit of an eye-opening exercise. But what we're really after is the category, how much you're spending, and then total it all up for this number here at the bottom. At this point, you might be feeling okay, or you might be completely overwhelmed because this number is large and you've experienced a job loss or your hours have been cut. This number is just our starting off point, and we're gonna come back to it. Step number 2 is to only budget as far as your money will go. When I was getting started with YNAB, this was the hardest thing for me to wrap my mind around. I used to forecast. I would think, well, I'm expecting to make this much for the month. I'm gonna go ahead and budget all that out. That's not what YNAB teaches. YNAB says, pull out your phone, pull up your computer, and see exactly how much you have in your bank account right now. It could be $5, it could be $5,000, but that is the amount you have to work with and nothing more. That was hard for me to understand because my life cost more than what I had in the bank at that moment. And that's what's so powerful about only budgeting what you currently have. It brings in a sense of scarcity and clarity because we're gonna have to make decisions. What categories are the most important to get funded first? Going back to the example budget, remember the total was $3,386. So let's say I've checked my bank account and I don't have that much. I have $2,800 and some change. So when I create the budget for April, I'm gonna have to prioritize. I have the credit card minimum budgeted for, all of the bills, but down here, clothing, gifts, I'm not budgeting anything toward that right now. Same with vacation. I've cut way back on dining out and I haven't budgeted anything for entertainment. If you are just getting started with budgeting, at least for the first few months, I still have this category in my budget today. Stuff I forgot to budget for. I promise you things will come up and having this little bit of cushion is so nice. Something important to note, there's no right or wrong way to prioritize money. You don't know what's important to me and I don't know what's important to you and your circumstances. What we do want is a budget that reflects our values. Step number 3, set up a hunker down budget. Now is the time to hunker down both physically and with our finances. A lot of us are spending more time at home. I know for us, our dining out has gone down, gas has gone down, but groceries has gone up. So what you need to do is separate out your expenses into needs versus wants and put those needs right at the top. We want the things that are most important, food, water, shelter, to have top spot. Depending on your situation, this might expand to cover childcare, a loan you're paying back, insurance payment, and Wi-Fi. But with the money you currently have, you're going to give each one of those dollars a job. And here's the big question: what does your money need to do before more money arrives? If this budget was created pre-pandemic, now is the time to tighten up. I'm going to go line item by line item, decide what is a need and what is a want. Gyms aren't currently open, so I'm going to look here. Also, we're not really dining out or going out of the house much, so maybe there's $54 here, and I also might want to take some money away from gas and repurpose that. Once I've determined what is a need and what is a want, I'm going to rewrite this so it's going to look very clear. I'm not saying you can't fund the wants, but this approach forces you to see what is a true essential and what could be cut if needed. I've written this all out, but if you're using the YNAB app, I have a video that walks you through how to do it in the app. Number 4 is cut cost. Look through those wants and see what you could do without. We're not sure when we're going to be traveling again, so any vacation savings. We're not getting haircuts. In this household, my mom is giving haircuts in the backyard, which is not something I would ever expect to see. But this is the time to get creative, and I do have a video that walks you through some ideas for cutting spending. Number 5, let the budget guide your way. I don't know how long this is going to last, but one thing I do know is the more we can protect the money for essentials right now, the longer that money is going to be there for us to provide that sense of calm and control. And with everything changing every single day, that information from the budget that's telling us if we need to bring in another source of income or make different choices with the money we currently have, that information is invaluable. It's a stressful time. I wish I could give a clear picture of what the future holds, but if you take away one thing from this video, if you create a budget today, you'll be so much better prepared for whatever comes next. If you're new to budgeting or you're like me and you had tried and it just never stuck, I have so many amazing free resources that I'll put in the description box. If you have any questions for me, leave those down below and I'll be back with more videos very soon.